Welcome to the Funded Now What podcast with your host, Andrew Lee Miller. Brought to you by Growth Experts. You are in store for a chat about funding, marketing, startups, and all things growth.
All right, everybody. Hello and welcome back to the Funded Now What podcast. I'm your host, Andrew Lee Miller, also known as AndrewStartups. Today, you're in store for a really great chat because we have Stella Wu, the founder and CEO of Eano, an amazing startup in the home, or I guess not even just home, in the construction business.
Yep.
Basically, you're an app that helps people, so that's why I said homes, helps people like me who are doing renovation projects find contractors, negotiate contracts, get better bids, all the things that I'm realizing are like the most stressful things when doing these construction projects at home. And you've raised several $1 million. I think I saw it with over $13 million.
Yeah, we raised around like $50 million.
$15 million. So that shows how big of an issue this really is. Stella, thank you so much for joining me today on the podcast.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting.
Yeah, I probably didn't do the best job there. I had a late night last night. I'm usually really good at giving founders a better pitch than they even do themselves. But go ahead and tell everybody what Eano does.
So it's a marketplace for connecting the homeowners and with the general contractors. You'll be able to find the contractor does all your residential projects. That's our B2C vertical. We more shift into the B2B. So we becomes a CRM and project management software, like your all-in-one software for contractor run their business. So the reason I mentioned the B2C is that we not only just the software, but we also give you like the leads if you need them. And once you have all of those, you can using our software to managing all your customers and also like the construction projects. So it's like all in one together. We have like desktop version and also the mobile version for like a few communication, things like that. Yeah. So it's a little bit different. We raised the money when we were like more in the B2C vertical, but now like we're more shifting to the B2B side.
Love it. Well, that's great that you came on the show because B2C is very different than B2B marketing. To be honest, the first like 10 years of my career, I was all B2C. I worked with Tinder. I worked with Living Social, if you're old enough to know about that. There was a lot of companies and marketers that were like B2B and SaaS. And I was like, no, B2C forever. And the last 10 years, I've not touched really any B2C stuff. I mean, I'll do it occasionally when I'm really interested in the project like I am for your company, but B2B is just so much easier. It's leads and promotion. You understand your target, you hit them. This is an interesting target to market to, but I went actually to a construction AI startup meetup last night, and they had project managers and contractors that are the customers of some of these companies. None of them are competitive. They're like procurement and stuff like that. But I saw how much it's saving these guys and girls incredible time and money. So that when something makes sense in B2B, it's just really easy as a marketer compared to B2C. It's just difficult. You have to have social media. You got to have a solid brand. You got to have so much more. So I love that you're doing both in tandem. But let's start with the funding stuff. That's quite a bit of money to raise for a company, especially in B2C. Did you have a background? Did you have a previous exit, or how were you able to raise that much money?
I think I think definitely having the experience joining a startup like early stage, like called Wish, at the time it's like 450 people, and then lead to the IPO company. Eventually, like right now they're not doing this so well, but being through that journey, I was the first person on their marketing team and lead their whole marketing efforts. So I think that when I was raising the money, that kind of like story be able to tell how I mastered all the growing. And then the other thing is like I think my personal background, like the founding this startup is not something like, oh, I wanted to do this. It's more of like the pain point I went through myself. I building like ADU project back in like 2019, which is pretty early of this like. Oh my God, this is so painful. So I actually been there, done that. And my family also runs like construction business in China. So it's somewhere like, oh, this is life missions for me to back to my family.
Multi-generational.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was
Well,
like, okay, let's start. It's all things combined together.
that's awesome.
And then like my the Wish CTO, one of the co-founder, also it's our board member and investing us. So I think like having someone you work in the past and be able to back you, that says the story, a strong
They
things.
know that you're going to get it done. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Cause I know you've navigated like
yeah,
changing and adapting to the market, but that's interesting about, for anybody that's not in California that doesn't know what the ADU thing means, because I'm also part of that trend. It's additional dwelling unit, I think is what it means, right? And
yeah,
basically, it's people in California put houses in their backyard. Is the short
yeah. Right.
way of saying it. And yeah, it's really crazy. I've lived here now for like 10 years, and I've seen every aspect of that. My cousin just bought a house in Berkeley. He got at a steep discount because it already had two ADUs in the backyard, and the people have been living them for like 20
Right.
years, and you can't get them out. And so it's a very interesting thing that doesn't really make sense to people in other parts of the country or world, but here it's just like everyone in the world wants to live here. And so if you can give them a house in your backyard that's affordable, they'll do it. I'm currently building an ADU in my basement, 2 bed, 1 bath, 1,000 square foot. And exactly like you said,
Yeah.
7 years, 6 years ago, it's just crazy, especially for someone that's I'm very digital and not like analog, and every single contractor wants to come
Yeah.
over and meet, and I want to just be able to use tech. And so Eno really speaks to me because I can do that. But um, so let's talk more about the B2B side. How are you acquiring? So, marketing, you've obviously done
Yeah.
more than I think any founder I've ever had on the podcast for marketing. How are you acquiring contractors? I mean, there's a lot of interesting ways I can think of off the top of my head to get them, but they're not very savvy, computer savvy people.
Right. I think like there's a like these days there's no a single channel where you can acquire people like because
Right.
we're bombarded by so many like different medias messages. So it's like definitely like there's a multiple layers of like a media channel. You're gonna hit them. I mean, we build our own internal like SMS tools, like sending like
That's
hundreds,
good.
thousands of like SMS per day. Um, yeah, and typically all their information is online, right? So that's one good thing compared to um, like acquiring the homeowner side. Uh,
Hmm.
and then I think another thing is like a contractor, they're still I mean they're the service providers. Sometimes they have to pick up the call to speak with you. So I think that is one thing, and also a bunch of like partnerships with different other companies to do co-marketing together, and also like there's a like literally just cold call them, and
No,
yeah, so many ways.
I love it. I mean, like, the more old school you go, the more the phone works. And like you said, they're service providers, so they have to answer random numbers, and they're also like out in the field a lot, so they're just
Yeah,
used to answering their phone. So, yeah. So you have a human working in the team that's just cold calling, or are you doing these calls yourself, or are you using
um,
AI or what?
right. So we have like a we have a oversee team does it. But again, Coco is just like one of the method. Like we do a lot of
Yeah,
the SMS, the email, direct mail. It's like Google Ads. It's like and social media. It's like all
you
everything.
got to do it. Yeah, multi-channel.
Yeah.
But so what's working the best? Like, I feel like the call is going to work the
Oh,
best, but then if you tell me like international team, I think the quality goes down a little bit. Not anything against
yeah, yeah,
outsourced
yeah,
teams. It's just the
yeah.
target that you're calling is like very like
Right, right, right. I think
n-
it's more. Oh, and also the one of the biggest ones like conference, the trade show. So trade show is like basically you meeting them in person, and
of course,
the leads quality and also like conversion is definitely better. It's just
of
very
course.
expensive, so you need to be careful like how to navigate the ROI there. um I would say like so far like SMS is the best,
Hmm.
so we doing a massive like SMS campaigns and then like see who is interesting, then we call them based on like their response.
Do you do English and Spanish when
Yeah.
you do outreach? So
uh,
yeah,
good. um Mostly right now it's English, but we have a Spanish SDR
I was gonna say
as well. Yeah. Um,
nice.
I think it also depends on region because like Houston, for example, has a lot of Spanish speaking
Of
people there.
course.
Yeah.
California too. I mean, like I'm fluent in Spanish. I'm using my Spanish skills to get better
Good.
deals on
Yeah,
on
yeah,
all the work that I'm getting done, and happy to give the work to people
yeah,
that really need it too. Um, but that's really cool. I love that the multi-channel approach. I think there's some interesting growth hacking abilities with like scraping Google Maps. I mean, like you said, all these people are their data's online. I also think because they're really old school, they're still using Facebook a lot and
yeah.
like putting their job title, put that they're a contractor in Facebook. I know I have my childhood best friend is in home services business. He does like a luxury home painting in like a
Mhm.
nice area
Yeah,
from where I'm from, and all he does is Facebook, like nothing else, like a couple groups, and like literally, it's like the last
yeah,
people still getting value out of Facebook. So
yeah.
I think it makes sense to. I mean, are you doing like Facebook ads because people? You remember back in the day, people used to write their job title. People still do that if they're like
Right,
a home
right.
contractor.
I mean, for now, we're trying to minimizing all the ad spending, because those are just like also depends on the stage of the company. I feel like most of our customers right now, we're still a lot of human conversations to
Hmm.
onboard them, get them to the payment stage. But I think like once we also like involve like people can do the self-serve checking, then we can just bump up our ads. That's why also like a lot of people sometimes ask me for the marketing advice. I always tell them like, okay, you need to figure out like the where your product is at, because
Of
the ads
course.
being so expensive these days. So I would
And not as high converting. So I
exactly.
think what you mean is basically the product's not self-service, so it's no point in running ads because then they need to book a meeting and there needs to be a sales
Yeah,
cycle to it. So you need
exactly.
more. Got
Yeah,
it.
so it's more of like gradual testing, right? You definitely wanted to run some just to get some like data flowing to see how that conversion look like and ROI
Hmm.
plays out. And once you have more data points, like okay, more people like purchasing themselves without human involved, and yeah, let's bump up the numbers.
Totally makes sense. And what's the price point for the product for this contractors? Is it like on 300 a month, 100 a month? Where are we at?
Yeah, so we have a different plans
Of course.
for someone who just want super simple, like say they don't want any like project management, they just wanted to send out this estimate through our AI just by telling the AI to spit out the estimates and then send out a contract. It's like 29.99
Okay.
per month for one person, and then we have like a starter plan, which is like it has all suite of the softwares like involving like project management, like you can take photos, there's client dashboard and all things like that. There's a $79 a month or 49 like an annual plan and like a monthly
Hmm.
plan. And then the pro version, which is like ultimate version, it's like 159 a month. If they subscribe for a full year, it's like less than $2,000. I mean, we always listen to the customer as well. Like the estimated plan is something we launched recently, so it's like okay, we talk to the customer if they feel like it's something too
If they
outrageous,
need, you
then
just
adjust
make
it
it.
a little bit. Yeah.
Love that. And at that price point, it definitely should be self-service. There shouldn't be that
Mhm.
much of a decision for the
Yep.
contractor to make on 29 bucks a month. Like, oh, this is going
Exactly.
to save me a ton of time.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So, I agree with, I mean, that seems like that should be the focus. You can't meet with every $29
Yeah.
customer.
Exactly.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
probably going to be a long LTV, like multi-year. So it's still like technically like $1,000 customer, probably each,
Yeah.
even at the smallest.
Yeah.
But yeah, that needs to be self-service, like 30 days free. They go try it out. They get hooked. They're never going to go back
Yeah.
after they have
Yeah.
an AI to talk to. And like, they're never going
Yeah.
to go back to, because these are very like not computer savvy people. They have like an iPad. Maybe one out of 100 has an
Yeah.
iPad on the job and they're typing stuff into it. Um, but that's so. How far away are you from making that self-service? Because that definitely informs the marketing. I agree.
Right. Right. So we just launched this pricing plan like last week. And then
Nice.
because we before it's all like human interactions, and then
Yeah,
we feel like, okay, in order for us to scale up, yeah, we gotta have like a self-serve plan, and that needs to be really simple enough, like, and like also pricing points like affordable enough. So we launched
totally.
that last week, and then we're about to running some ads to get some data and see how it goes.
Oh, great. So we can talk about that. But before I go, I mean, like, I think when you run the ads, you want to test the pricing. Like, pricing is one of the hardest things in B2B SaaS to figure out. And
Yeah,
people think we want to make it as cheap as possible and that's going to help people convert, but it's
yeah,
sometimes not the case. Actually, psychologically, a contractor, maybe not, but a lot of the targets assume the price is reflective of the amount of value you create. So a
hmm,
$29 thing, like, you might with ads have to hit them many times to
yeah,
explain how much value they get, because we just don't think it's possible that a $29 a month thing can revolutionize our business. Now, somewhere in between that and like $1,000 a month is too much money. So there, you laugh, but
I
it's got to
know.
be somewhere in between. I have
Yeah.
a client in they're revolutionizing the mold detection space, so also home services, and they have through trial and error figured out that mold inspectors really love their reporting software. So it sounds
Hmm.
like maybe you have something similar inside of that. And figuring out the pricing has been really difficult because some people say it's too cheap, some people don't
I
convert because
know.
they think it's too cheap. Like, it's tough, and you have to make sure that you don't make decisions based off like a few data points. It's got to be current customers give the best data, like, like, what made
Yeah.
you move forwards. Oh, well, it was this thing. It's kind of the same issue with like feature bloat. You constantly think you have to add more features to convert, but when I come in and work with companies, it's like, this is the actual thing that they care about that's making them convert. Remove everything else from top of the funnel,
Hmm.
show them this one thing, really good price for it. What is your like free, how much are they going to get for free to try it out? Like, what's your free trial strategy going to be with these paid ads?
It's just like they can do one project at all times to test it out with. Yeah,
That's a lot. So is the
it is.
project could take 1 year and they can get it all for free?
I mean, it's like either like estimates or a project. So if they create a one estimate, we also count that as a one project. So just like one. Yeah. So just to give a little bit like a taste to anyone who tests
Yeah.
out the software.
That's another hard part to really figure out. So we try to find this, what I call, I don't know if anybody else calls it this, the aha moment in the
Uh-huh.
product where they're like, oh my God, this is an unbelievable product. And then you want to push them to refer people or import their
Yeah.
contacts, other contractors or something
Yeah.
right at that moment to like earn free credit or win, a tool belt from some partnering
Yeah.
company or something that's even worth more than money. A bunch of Eano swag, maybe, if they're already a power user. But I don't know if it's just doing one estimate. I'd have to get deeper into the product and see it. Like, sometimes 30 days is too long, and someone, because psychologically, again, they think, I have time to look at this
Yeah.
in like two
Exactly.
weeks, and then they don't do it. So
Yeah.
we want to make it seem like they need to go, and especially also at the top of the funnel, it really matters. If you're doing outreach, they might not have a project where they're doing an estimate for right away, as
Yeah.
opposed to if they're coming inbound and they're looking for like AI contracting estimator tool, uh, something like that, then they have an immediate need and they'll get through that free trial right away. And so all of that is difficult to learn from with paid ads being the way
Exactly.
that you're testing it.
Yeah.
So I think the first thing I would say is reaching out to, people, even as CEO, like 20 to 50 contractors, like, we just launched this new thing. I'd love to give it away for you. You can estimate like a one liner. Are you working on any estimates right now? If so, I've got this estimator tool. I'd love to give it to you for free to try out. And then if they
Yeah.
say yes, then you can
You know,
get.
the thing is like what we find out is like sometimes like if you offer free, people will just like instantly. I don't know, like general contractor, what people would talk to is like instantly think you're not providing anything. So we never
That's
really proactively say, oh, it's free or something. Or just say there's a price plan, yeah, right. But we give you some free trial or just to test it out to go
interesting.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
That's true. And I guess the wording I would say is I'm giving it to you for
Right.
free for your feedback, but it's normally $150 a month. I would love if you check
Yeah.
it out. But yeah, lead with the value. You figure that stuff out from messaging, and then, I mean, from outreach, and then you put it into the ads. But my whole point of saying all that was I think ads is difficult. My entire career is convincing founders not to test with paid user acquisition,
Yeah. Yeah.
because the data is kind of messed up because people are on social, like, where are you going to run these ads? Don't say Meta.
No, 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 not
No.
Meta.
Okay. Okay.
I
Well,
don't.
there's a subreddit for, renovations and contractors. And so you could
Right.
target people on Reddit really cheap. There's LinkedIn ads. You can
Yeah.
target them by their job. There's,
Yeah.
you could do Google display, and there's affinity. It knows like what people are talking about in their
Yeah.
Gmail, and you could
We
do
we
Google search.
we right now it's like just a little bit Google target, like keyword targets, and also
Yeah, search stuff,
yeah,
keyword display target.
Apple's
Yeah, I mean, definitely, I'm comfortable to say this on video for the first time. Like, Google is shitting the bed right now. Like, we were just running campaigns for a client recently, and you get lots of click through rate, very high click through rate. It's not as high quality traffic
yeah,
anymore
yeah,
because the AI overview is like grabbing most people's attention. So even if they click on something, they go back and they go back to
yeah.
what the AI overview said. So, yeah, I'd be worried about getting data for that test from that. So anyway, because people like paid ads are just more fickle. They're not as high
Yeah.
value than, but you have to do it at a certain phase to
So
scale. But to use it to test is kind of worrying. So put it out.
nice, nice.
Yeah, like, I'm sure you built a large email list of contractors. Like, I think
Yeah,
it's a good thing to do an email blast around, like launching our new pricing for, but yeah, if people can't figure out the value, even if you're mentioning it free, then it's definitely in the messaging of the features and the value prop than it is more about pricing. Because if, like,
yeah.
they have a pain point, they'll go use it regardless of what it costs. But yeah, it's
Another thing.
generally a cheap person, this target, I
Yeah.
think.
I
So
just think like for GC, this group of people, it's really just like because they have so many problem need to face, like the client communication, how to find deals, and also the actual construction project is really complicated, and I'm buying materials like almost like they've been pulling like 10 different directions at the same
mhm.
time. So it's really to grasp their attention. The challenge what we're facing is like it's really hard to get to them sit and then to see the product, but once they see it it's like wow, this is so great, it's like it all makes sense. um
Hmm.
but then like so I think
Getting them to sit is the difficult part. Okay, sweet, good challenge for me. All right, so couple things. When I have a difficult target to book a meeting with, we do like a 1 minute pre-recorded demo, like that they can easily watch. And so that's one thing. Have you tried that? Like sending a pre-recorded demo that they can click on a link and watch and get the aha
um,
moment?
we have some we send it like animated videos, the
Mm,
short video, but not the real person, so I think like yeah, maybe you can help
yeah,
us
like
with that.
literally a Loom video with you
Uh,
on screen share. Like, hey, Andrew, I know you're really busy out in the field dealing with the things that you just mentioned, like one,
sure.
two, three thing. What we've noticed is contractors that we work with, when they finally sit down with us, they're like blown away by the product. But since you don't have time, I just recorded you a quick video. Watch this, and if you don't think this is going to revolutionize your business, then just tell me to fuck off, basically, or whatever. Like, this target likes language like that. I
Yeah,
use a lot of informal language even when I reach out to startup founders,
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
the response rates are crazy, like 50 to
yeah,
70%, because people are so sick of dear sir, madam, to whom it may concern,
yeah,
I've got a startup. Contractors, these are like, salt of the earth, like calluses on the
yeah.
hand type people
Right.
working out with hammers. They want you to be like, hey, I will fuck off if you don't think this will completely save you hundreds of hours a month, but just watch this video. And then, so that's one thing. The second thing is maybe like reaching out, like, hey, are you out on a job right now? Can I come show you this thing? Like, you can't really do that, but they're going to respond and be like, no, you don't need to come out and show me out on the job. What are you talking about? Like, you just want to get a response. And then once you get a, like, what are you talking about response, then you can be like, okay, can I show you for 20 minutes on a call how this would change the game for you guys? We're already working with blank company, blank company, blank company. And then all they need to see is one logo that they know, and they're going to be like, okay, we have to make time for this. That's the second thing. And then the third thing is it really depends on the approach towards the company you're making. Are you going, I don't know how these organizations are built, but is it owner of the company? Is it the person that's out in the field, or is it the person that chooses what tools are used for the company? That's usually like the framework. So I call it a bottom or top down approach versus the
Mm-hmm.
bottom up approach for outreach. And the top down approach is what I think is sounding like. You're like going straight to the CEO or the owner of the company, like the owner of the
Yeah.
GC company. And that's why they're like less responsive. But when you get them in person or looking at it, then they're like, okay, quick decision. That's how that goes, the top down. There's also someone underneath that person. It could be, I don't know, operation. I don't even know what the roles are, but let's say there's I mean, it's definitely not a marketing person. Let's say there's a like manager at the company below them, like the more bottoms up approach. They're super responsive,
Mm-hmm.
excuse me, but they have to get the approval of that other person. But at least you can show it to them at a higher rate. Have you ever tried that?
Yeah, I think it's like for bigger size of the company, that's the way to go. And then smaller ones, like the long tail ones, is like you just go directly to the CEO.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say like the key things to this type of either way, the strategy is like relentless, like chasing them
Yeah.
for the GCs.
Well, it's like a numbers game. At the end of the day, one, I think the bigger companies will be more evolved and
Yeah,
and more like modernized. Like the little guy is just doing one project at a time and paying his own bills and taking care of his family. That's not the
yeah,
ideal customer. I mean, your price point is affordable for everyone, but you want someone that's going to
yep,
outgrow those smaller plans and move up to a larger plan. So I would only focus on the larger ones. Again, you need logos when you're just
yeah,
launching pricing last week. You need logos more than you need small customers. Sometimes the bigger guys, I mean, not sometimes in this space, but like sometimes we're doing everything in parallel and closing more small companies than big companies. But I think it's
hmm,
actually the opposite for your space. I think the bigger companies will be like, yes, we're forward thinking. You know, it's also where they're based. So my very good friend is a GC and real estate developer here in San Francisco. So
hmm,
he's naturally more tech focused.
yeah, yeah.
And he went with me to this real estate AI event last night. He kind of legitimized me being there. I was like, you know, selling to founders and talking people into marketing and recruiting services from growth experts. But so thinking about where people are, like just Pacific Northwest specifically versus Texas is going to be wildly different for the tech adoption. You know,
Mm,
so focusing
right,
geographically, because you might be like, okay, our customers might be anywhere in the country, but early adopters tech wise are going to be in New York, Miami,
right.
maybe in Austin, but probably not on the construction side, and LA where you're at, and San Francisco. And just in those places alone is, you know, maybe 30 to 50 companies in each place. So that's plenty of, you know, multi-channel outreach. It's maybe a week worth of work just to hit those places, but then you get some logos, some early adopters, and outside of those geos, going on LinkedIn and just looking for the marketing manager, or maybe not marketing because it's not a marketing tool, but I always like hitting up marketing managers because they like in meetings to look smart and bring things to, hey, I know this isn't
Sure.
marketing, but I did research and I found this company, Eano, that looks amazing. I was reading this article about them. Even though you plant it for them, you want that early, that champion can be anybody in the company that brings it up. I find like even like social media marketers will like, you know, many different projects will DM a company through Instagram or send a message through Facebook back in the day. And the social media marketer will surface it up to the company in like a weekly marketing meeting.
Yeah.
So anybody can be a champion, but what is that? Does that resonate at all? Like the thinking about those tech forward geos first?
Yeah, I do see that like in the Bay Area, maybe people are more tech savvier than other regions. I think like the Houston ones are like there's more Hispanic contractors. It's actually easier to go into those market though, because
Of
like the
course.
more advanced one, like there's a lot of competitor
Is
also.
there a lot of competitors? That was my next question.
Yeah,
I
so
mean, if you have a superior product, you want competition. You don't want to be the first mover. Like first mover takes a lot of money and time to do
100%.
education.
Yeah,
So second mover sometimes can be really good. I mean, look at like Lyft, or
yeah, because
$60 billion company that everyone thinks is
yeah.
tiny, but still, but
Yeah, exactly. So when we tell the people, it's like, yeah, we have some customer shift from builder trend to us. They instantly get it. Like, okay, you guys are doing things what they're doing. It's like explains a lot.
amazing. Okay, that's a great marketing thing to talk about. Are you doing like content about comparison? Because that's a big thing. Like people will search for your company
Yeah,
name and the word reviews, and then you make your own blog article come up with testimonials from customers. Similar the same way. If there's 5 or 10 competitors out there, you first of all you want to do paid ads targeting the search of those competitor
yeah.
keywords. I'm sure you're doing that, right?
Again, we haven't started really
Okay.
spend much money on the paid marketing side. It's we done that before, but like since we pivot to B2B model, we're just like, okay, so we shifted this like estimator plan. That's why gonna launch this experiment of targeting, like doing some ads. But before that, I was like, let's not spend
No, that
much
makes
money
sense.
on
Yeah,
that.
like you don't want to spend money to figure stuff out. You want to figure stuff out, then spend money. And I love that. No matter how much money you raise, that's the right way to go. I mean,
Yeah,
San Francisco graveyards are littered with companies. They're like, we raised $2 million. Wow, let's get an office and hire someone full time.
yeah,
My entire pitch as a fractional CMO is like, let's take the founder out of marketing. I
yeah,
mean, you're a little different because you've got background, but still, you have so many other things to do than full time focus on marketing here.
exactly.
And so, but
Yeah,
you need to do something in like the 12 months post funding
yeah, yeah,
before
yeah.
hiring a team. So
Yeah,
appreciate you helping.
we have the B2C, like because the for the B2C side, we raised the money, and at that time there's a lot of a company doing similar like this turnkey solution for the B2C consumer market.
Hmm.
They raised like 50 millions or like something like 100
Wow.
million or even more, way more, and now they're like just like died or because that business model or just having some like issues is not like the margin you earn is not sustainable for that type of like white glove services. And
Yeah.
so and yeah, they were having a lot of money done like doing a lot of like advertising. So I
No,
think
that's bad.
yeah, the reason we'd be able to survive today, I think it's through all these difficult times. I think is we really carefully are spending advertising or just like
Smart.
on in general.
Yeah, and another thing I love about B2B, you really don't need to spend any money to get the early clients, and then once you only need money for like branding, but with something like so tight knit like this, it's very easy to spend little amounts. So what I was saying is like $500 a month spend on just the True Build or whatever the competitors you mentioned names are, that is worth the money even now, because if someone is searching for it, they are already sold that they need it. So that's the lever, like that's going to make someone convert. But again, you don't have the self-service yet, so maybe not ideal. But if there was a blog article, so what was the name of the company that's already out there? No, don't say it. Don't say it. We don't want to give them any marketing. But I'll just make up the name as True Build. That was somebody that was on the podcast earlier. They're in Saudi Arabia, so you're fine.
Okay.
But they're a pre-construction procurement or something like that. So let's say someone searches for that keyword, then you have a Google search ad come up, True Build versus Eano, which one is better? And then, like people look at it the same way as they're searching on Chat GPT or they're doing research. They don't recognize that it's an ad because it's not overly salesy. They click on it. Believe it or not, they don't recognize that they're on your domain. They're just looking at the content. If you go and you search, I always tell clients this example. If you go search startup marketing agency San Francisco, it's just an example because it's what I look at.
That's smart.
It's well, no, it's we're not doing that, but we do SEO around that because we wrote blog articles, and all the listicles are the main things that come up for anything you search for, like top or best. But a lot of times in marketing, if you're searching for marketing, a company's realized same thing as growth experts. If you search stop top fractional CMOs for startups, there'll be an article that we wrote on our blog. Obviously, we're putting Andrew as number one, but then we're authentically ranking everyone below me. And so Google and ChatGPT look at that as an unbiased article and then get their data from that. And so it's kind of the same thing. The user will click on, oh, there's another one that's comparing it to Truebill. Click on it, go to your article. And then if you're not going to lie, we don't lie about anything. It's if you're actually like, so the goal here is to show those red X's and the green check mark, Eano. Oh, wow, there's way more stuff with Eano and it's only $29 and I can get it free for my first month. And then you steal that user and it's like a 40% click-through rate, roughly. So really cheap. You can spend a little, and I think you'd be surprised because the intent is still there. Like that's the worrying thing about it. Like if you're telling me the problem is how do I get them to sit down? It's not outbound. It's more inbound stuff that actually when they're not all savvy, they're not all going to be searching for stuff. There's one more thing I'm going to talk about that'll accelerate the inbound. But I think paid search on competitor keywords is like a bare minimum thing that you got to do. And again, like $500 doesn't mean anything. Like it's not like, I call myself a cheap ass marketer when I talk to companies, like, because Andrew, I don't know, I'm not really ready to invest in marketing. Like you're going to die. You have to do something. But like I limp into everything. I think maybe you're kind of a little bit the same way, not calling you a cheap ass like me, but you limp into stuff and you need data to decide on what you're spending, even when you're raising tens of millions of dollars, and that's the right way. What about on the PR side? Like this is like a really tight knit space. There's only like a few major, you said you're going to conferences, which I consider part of the public relations sprint, but like, the construction magazine or, contractor podcasts and things like that. Are you doing anything around that?
I think like we would like to try more like this year because like it's all every experiment takes a lot of like actually good amount of like time and effort to put into it.
Yeah.
So what we've been trying to pass is really just the low hanging for the most least amount of the effort and see like the best conversion rate. But then like for those things, I think what you mentioned is like great like way for long term, like organically having a lot of like inbound comments. That's something we are trying to focus on like this year. So it's like start attending those like conference, and then like the good thing is some of the conference is like ROI positive for us, so we just like keep doubling down and doing that.
That's great.
Yes. Yeah. So, and for the other things, like say the magazine, we haven't tried out yet. So we've been really careful. Like, okay, if we find out something that's working, just continue trying that for now.
Absolutely. Yeah. I literally say that in my talks when I talk to like early stage founders. Something works, keep doing it. Stop testing other things until you max out that channel. If you're resource limited, you can't spread yourself thinly if something starts to work. So I think if there's signals that the conference stuff works when you're getting a booth, then I would really focus on trying to speak at the conference because that just shows that the industry is really hungry for it. Even if like the individual contractor that's in the field that you're reaching out to is like, I'm too busy for this right now. Like just trying, because a lot of these smaller businesses, they're just like trying to stay afloat. So but overall, the industry is really interested in how is AI going to revolutionize the space? Is software going to help us do our job better? And so I think creating a story for you as the speaker on that, especially because like you have this origin story for the company, and you had, you're a tech chick that came from out of the space because you had a problem, and now you're like innovating the space and so it really, I could see you being a speaker at those conferences about how AI and how software is going to bring, what are the next steps for contractors to get into 2027 or whatever. Not many other people are going to be actually value add for these conferences and stuff. And so I always like to pitch founders that have a legitimate value for conferences to the conference. They're going to always try and push you to the salesperson, but like you can always get like a half barter, like I'll speak and then, cheaper booth space. And that's just more money for paid advertising that you can use, So, so that's one thing. I think with the niche PR, it's really valuable because you can do more with an article, and I'm making it up, Contractor magazine, than you can just your own content. If you run an ad to Contractor magazine article that targets these contractors, they're very likely to click on, like, you know, how this startup is revolutionizing contracting, saving, you know, or forever, or how this startup is saving contractors 100+ hours a month, or $10,000 a month on whatever. They're going to click on that and then see a unbiased, authentic news source that they believe in, and then obviously you get a hyperlink there as well, so that's fine. And yeah, so I think those are good things, and that drives the inbound that really like leads to very like quick conversion. And once your brand name is known, then that outbound also works a lot better. You know, they get that FOMO going as they, oh man, I read an article about how like we also do PR for like major case studies. If you close a big logo, or if we have like a really big result, this, you know, company has like 1,000 projects a year and they used us and it saved them X number of hours or dollars. We put out a press release around that, and like all that really starts not only bringing in inbound, but the outbound converts at a much higher rate once that's there, because, you know, they've seen it, they've heard about it, they know they need it, and they're like, it's adapt or die. Like, people are going to use this, and if you're not, then you're going to get passed up by your competitors. And that's like the level of arrogance we want to get to with our outbound, you know. And so is any of that resonating?
Yeah, I would say like it's definitely interesting. It's like a more of like the when we get to the stage like we have the right conversion, that's something we'll love to explore more.
Yeah, no, I hear you. You're right at the point where, I mean, you've had to do a lot of pivots, staying alive, staying nimble, lean, and I think you're right in the right space at the right time to where, I mean, I might be just clouded in the bubble because I'm doing the stuff and I'm like, I need this. I mean, I'm on the B2C side, but also
Yeah, because
like
my background's more of like on the performance marketing. Like I feel like for anything that's hard to track or be able to, like for example the magazine, all those things, it's really hard to track the actual performances. Then it would be the bottom of my like experiment to get.
okay, well, that's great that you say that, because that's not true. So we can give UTM parameters on the hyperlink to the article,
I
right?
understand.
And
Yeah,
then we can see the traffic coming in. So,
yeah.
and then
But
obviously,
still,
even qualitatively, when someone book, because it's not self-service, when someone books, or even when they sign up, how did you hear about us? And then you see
yeah,
they read an article and you're like, oh shit.
100%. I mean, there was definitely a ways to do it, but more. I feel like the more I mean, it's very depends on personal. I prefer like first thing is like having some numbers directly
Of
tied to
course.
it, and then like
Max the digital stuff out. I mean,
yeah,
but again, like you said, this is not a target that really likes to convert from paid user ac. And so
exactly.
you have to do things when you're dealing with
Yeah,
a more traditional old school market. So you got to kind of forget about the wish stuff, because it's like not 100% relevant. You know, I mean, it was maybe more on the B2C side, but the B2B is just totally different. But also, this target is just old school, and so different things really matter, and they still are consuming some media that's
sure,
relevant to them. And if you can be in those places, I mean, it's kind of like paid ads ground cover. You need to do that. It helps with SEO, it helps with link building, it helps with brand awareness, it helps with people seeing you at the conference and be like, oh yeah, I think I read an article about you. There's a lot of intangible, hard to track value, but also that's just time investment. You know, like I mean, like, it's only blood, sweat, and tears and time investment to build a list of all of the media that in that space, and then write a press release with ChatGPT and ship it out. You don't necessarily have that time, but that would be the reason to like bring on a junior marketer. It sounds like you're probably like maybe a month away from having the signals that it's really time to start investing more in marketing. And
hmm
then, you know, you can manage your performance marketing. That's great. But then there's all these other creative
yeah,
content, not as trackable things
yeah,
that you'll be able to figure out an ROI on having that employee, but it won't be like
exactly. Like I
as
won't be
trackable.
me to do all the things.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, well, when that time comes, I have some really good recommendations for you. And yeah, is there any other marketing related thing? I mean, you know a lot more than really anybody that's ever been on the show, but I think I've dropped some value maybe on the show.
I love it. It's pretty interesting. I like the content. I mean, I think, yeah, there's a lot of ways, a lot of organic ways to do it. One thing I really agree with what you said is like if we can attract people for inbound, like say like even the tools, like calculator tools or free tools or free articles, they click into it and then to join, that might be having a better like a meeting show up right there. So that's something we definitely are putting more effort to doing, but we're just like I need to wait for my full-time person to be on board, like to fully go testing
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. So basically, I think what you mean is you're building like like I call it engineering as marketing. Like you make different products that'll have SEO, like tools or features that people can find, like free things, like a free calculator estimator.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a big SEO push. You have to, like, if someone searches for, calculator for contractors and they find that. So it's like it's a whole nother 40-minute conversation about how to do the structuring of the URL for that. But that also should probably be a paid ad on it, like, cause it would only be like 10 cents a click, 30 cents a click. And if somebody searches for it, and then it probably has a decent conversion. But anyway, I think that's enough for one day. Super exciting. I'm excited to continue using the B2C product, and I'll give you some feedback offline about that and the experience that I'm having with that. I did forget to say that Eano is actually a client of ours on the recruiting side, so I should have given that caveat. So maybe in the future on the marketing side, but I'll continue being a hopefully power user for you as I'm going to buy a couple more buildings this year, I think, myself. And I really the renovation game, it's tough, it's nerve-wracking, but I think it's really rewarding long term, especially here in the Bay Area. I feel like we're back. I don't know how LA is feeling, but Bay Area is like booming again with people moving here. So I think business is going to be really good for you over the next couple of years here. So Stella Wu, thank you so much for making the time and for being here today.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for inviting. Thank you, Andrew.
Absolutely.
That has been another episode of the Funded Now What podcast with your host, Andrew Lee Miller, brought to you by Growth Experts. If you liked the episode, please subscribe. And if you really liked it, please share with other founders and entrepreneurs. Thanks, and we'll see you in the next episode.